Right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my review of Weapons. This is Zach Cregger's latest movie, the in-demand Barbarian writer and director. This movie actually had a bidding war over it. And having watched it, I can see why. I really enjoyed this film. Thought it was superb. Thought it was really, 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 really good. Apparently, lots of people have been watching this and they've gone, "Oh, there's no point to this movie." Does everything have to be a lecture? Can we not just drop into a world, an event that happens, and just be there for the ride? I think this is like, I don't know, nearly a decade and a half of just brain rot Hollywood lately. Just destroying people's minds. There kind of is a point, but kind of isn't, really. Like, it is quite literally just dropping into a world and an event that happens, and you are there for the ride. And what a ride it is. I really enjoyed this film, genuinely. From the trailer, you'll know that you're in for a treat. The cinematography in the trailer was superb, and I was very intrigued from this from the off anyway. Because it was kind of like unlike anything I'd seen for a while. And some people would watch the trailer and gone, "Well, this is reminiscent of this." Sure, whatever. I hadn't seen something that well composed in a trailer for a while. And the trailer itself is pretty much the opening parts of the film. So, has anything been spoiled? No, not from the trailers. And I'm not going to spoil it here in this review either. I'd love you guys just to go in blind and just enjoy it. This film is brutal. Brutal, gory, gross. Yeah, it's nasty. Absolutely nasty. It's suspenseful. There's so much tension in this film. But then equally so, there are elements of comedy. Just a bit of brevity here and there. And it works. Like, this film really works. It's a really solid horror film. There's one or two jump scares which I thought were good. And the reason why I say that, and I normally hate jump scares because I just think they're lazy. But the reason why I thought these jump scares were good was because throughout this film there are moments where you would expect a jump scare and there isn't one. So it's constantly building this tension. So when there is a jump scare, actually it works quite well. Because it's not one of those jump scare films where you know it's coming and you could, for argument's sake, you could close your eyes and just avoid it. It lulls you into a false sense of security in a really good way. So yeah, I liked that a lot. There's lots of twists and turns. And I didn't necessarily see it coming, but I enjoyed it, and I wasn't mega surprised when I realised what was going on. So, how this film was constructed and why it's so good, or one of the reasons why I like it anyway, is they're telling this event that happens in this small town. All these kids go missing from this classroom. So you're telling this event that happens, but then you're telling a series of events from different people's perspective as we go through the film. And you start to build a picture of what is actually happening. And so when we get to the final character's perspective, you really do get a fantastic culminative, situation where everything culminates nicely and it's kind of wrapped up in a really nice bow. And I thought that worked very, very well. And I've got to bang on about the cinematography. The cinematography in this film was brilliant. Really, really good. And quite ingenious at points. So I've talked about the rule of thirds before. You separate the screen into thirds and you do certain framing here and there and how to focus on certain things. That's utilised really well. But then there's some really interesting shots, which I haven't seen for a while. So like a guy climbs up a guttering, for instance. And the camera is just effectively an upskirt shot. It's a bloke, so you're not upskirting anything. But you get my drift, right? Vertically upwards. And letting the rain fall down on the camera. Obviously, it's got a protective layer and whatnot. But great shot, like really, really good shot. And there's loads of ingenious shots like this. Really, really well done. And you never, because you don't quite understand what's going on, you know, until the picture starts to build more and more, the suspense keeps carrying, but you're still getting a sense of what's going on. It's really well done. It's really, really, really well done. Now, Zach Cregger is the chap that's going to be moving on to Resident Evil now. And I could see why. I think he'd be very, very good for Resident Evil. I think he'd be very, very good for Resident Evil. The music's brilliant in this film as well, by the way. The music worked fantastically. And it's effectively, from what I could tell, and I'd have to take a look, it looks like they've created one score. It's the same score that's in the trailer, that eerie music that comes through. And then they're utilising parts of it during the movie at different points. So it's what appears to be one song that they're just breaking down into certain bits. And it's brilliant. It's really, 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 really good. And you can see that Zach Cregger's inspired by, really, really... Well, he's inspired by greats, right? Kubrick, for instance. There's shades of that coming through in The Shining here and there. No spoilers, but there's shades of that comes through. He's obviously inspired by old school filmmakers, and you can see that. And he seems to be a filmmaker that is untouched by Hollywood machine. It still has that element of pre-washed. It's not ultra commitified, if that makes any sense at all. It still is his vision, what seemingly is anyway. Josh Brolin puts on a great show. He did a fantastic job. I think his role previously had gone to Pedro Pascal, and then due to the delays, Pedro Pascal had to drop out. I couldn't imagine that role being done with Pedro Pascal. Thank God there were delays, because Josh Brolin was brilliant. He's always fantastic. Everyone did a great job in this film. And I strongly recommend it. I thought it was a solid film throughout. A strong recommendation for the movie theatre, I thought. I don't begrudge going to pay to see this film. It's not going to be for everyone, mind you. There will be people that will watch this film and just be like, what? And to you, I say, uncultured swine, go watch some older films. Not every film has to have some kind of lecture point to it. So anyway, there you go. There's my review. It's fantastic. Very well shot. Great. Perfectly scored, I thought. Beautiful cinematography. Great acting. Good story. A roller coaster ride of emotions. Until we get that penultimate shot. Brilliant. Strong recommendation. Now, if you've seen it, leave your thoughts down below. Take care. Bye-bye now.